actually a civil rights issue because it was something that was fought and won during civil rights. I mean, that's plain and clear. I think that the fact that we're having to address this again is really telling for our country. It's very concerning, and it's concerning for the Legacy Advisory Council, which is why when I asked them to organize this march, they said 100% they had already decided to vote no, as well as the entire Park and Recreation commissioners for Minneapolis. And this was just a done deal. When they think about the work that they've done to get the park renamed, the legacy of Dr. King, the work of the women's suffrage, the work of LGBT, you know, we need to stand together and we need to organize and vote no. We also need to recognize that this issue has local realities that we need to address as well.
The Park Board, in kind of an unprecedented step, decided to pass two resolutions. One was to fight this amendment and encourage people to vote no on the issue of requiring photo ID, voter registration, and the other thing is that the Park Board also came out against defining marriage. Well, the Park Board has long been an advocate of trying to get as many people to vote as possible, and this particular issue with requiring photo ID, we think flies in the face of that.
So the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Legacy Committee started about 2 years ago out of the midst of actually a neighborhood controversy involving one of our parks, Martin Luther King Park.
Yeah.
And we brought together a committee of neighbors and friends from across cultural divides and across economic divides and across just the physical barrier of the freeway to really look at how as a community we can advocate and preserve Dr. King's legacy in the only park in the state that bears his name. In the 2 years they've done a phenomenal job of bringing the community together out of a controversy. They've raised over $50,000 in playground funds to upgrade the park, and they've done a wonderful job of educating people on important issues like the voter ID amendment. Something that if Dr. King were alive today, I'm sure he would be marching in the front of the line with us. It's really about inclusion and getting more and more people involved in our public process.
Some of the elders do not have resources to get a government ID. Some do not, and some do. But the thing of it is, I mean, it's putting a strain on those people who really can't afford it. And also, too, it reminds me of that voters, no voters right down in the South, as we had it in the 1960s, where blacks had to pay a toll charge just to vote. So it's a double whammy when it comes to the black community and particularly the older community. Well, you know, I question whether they're really free or not. You know, the government has to put some funds in it to make those IDs free. And it's going to cost something. That's a misnomer when you say it's free. Everything isn't free. And I don't think the idea that the people can get free ID. If you look at people at my age, and I'm 81, and I can recall those days. Of course, my parents were able to vote. We didn't live in the South per se, but my parents were able to vote. But I have friends that came up with me in college and also in the armed forces that their parents could not vote. And I think the amendment states that everyone has the right to vote.
How can I say no to a visionary ally who's fighting for the cause when I needed to say no to those who would make Minnesota one more stop on Jim Crow's comeback tour? Okay? And if we're going to say no to Jim Crow, we have to say yes to being together, to marching in the streets, and to raising our voices.